Welcome to Sew Anastasia. Today we're going to take a really ugly big sweater. I mean, it's a really cute sweater, but it's too big, so it's ugly. And we're gonna trim it up and make it fit. So now you can go to the thrift store, you can buy these really big sweaters, and you can make them fit. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on, and we can see how big and weird this sweater is on me. Okay, so we can't see my hands anymore, which is a really big problem. If I had a problem scratching myself at night while I slept with my nails, the sweater would be great, but I don't have that problem. So, we're going to need to make this shorter. Looks like I'm gonna have to take off about that much, but we'll precisely measure later. If I wanted to wear this as a dress with a belt, that'd be great and all too, but we really want to have this up here. So we have a ton of fabric down here to take off as well. So we are going to shrink this massive sweater. Okay, so you're going to need your tape measure, and it helps if you have a friend to help you with this, but if you don't, that's cool too. So I'm gonna do my arms first. So I want to measure from the top of my shoulder all the way down to my arm. And you want to see how long you would like your sleeves. I'm going to do my sleeve at about 20, I'll go 21 inches, because I can always make it shorter, but I can't make it longer once I cut it. So you gotta be careful about that. You don't want to destroy your really cool big sweater. So a lot of times older sweaters, the seam that would be like a shoulder line is down lower on the arm. So put back on your sweater, find out exactly where you want the top of your shoulder to be that you're measuring down from. The top of my shoulder is actually way down here on my arm. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a pin where the actual top of my shoulder is that I'm gonna be measuring from. So now I know this is where I'm going to be measuring down for my 21 inches. And my measurement down was 21. So 21 minus 3, 18. So what we want to do is measure 18 inches from the shoulder down. So I'm gonna put a pin here. And once we do that, we also want to measure 3/8 inch down, so that way we have seam allowance. So now this is where I'm going to cut off. Make sure you have your sleeve nice and straight, and do it. Chop into it. Cool. Looks like such a small sleeve, but it's gonna work out perfectly. Okay, so now we have chopped off this piece of the sleeve on the bottom, so our sleeve is much shorter, and I have this rib knit on here. So next what we wanna do is go ahead and cut this extra off so that we're just left with a band of rib knit. Again, make sure you have seam allowance. So 3/8 away from the rib knit, I'm just going to roughly eyeball this. Now we have cut off our rib knit for our wrist, and it's looking fabulous because we love it, right? Got it. Cool, let's move on. Now that you've done it perfectly to one sleeve, go ahead and do it perfectly to the other sleeve, and then we'll be ready to sew the sleeves on. Okay, so now that I have my sleeves cut off, I want to go ahead and measure for how short I want to make it. I want mine to come right about to my hip bone, which is about right here. So it's going to be about 22 inches, and then I'm gonna leave room for my band to be at the bottom of it. So that's where I actually want my band to start for my rib knit. So we're gonna move that up a little bit. So go ahead, if you need help, use a mirror too. A mirror will help a lot of times if you don't know exactly like where you want your sweater to lay on you. Now I've got my sweater laid out, and we're gonna measure from the shoulder down to the measurement you would like for the length of it. Okay, so we're gonna put the tape measure up at the shoulder. We're gonna go all the way down, and you wanna find your mark. I'm doing 22 inches, and then I want to figure out how much fabric I'm gonna cut off between that and the band. I'm gonna do about 2.5 inches. So now I know I can cut off my band and cut off an additional 2.5 inches. So go ahead and snip in, maybe snip in. Okay, and I am going to cut the band off right where the band is. And because there is 3/8 seam allowance, it is gonna make it 3/8 shorter, but I'm fine with that. Cool, so now we have a band. Okay, so I'm using the guide on this mat. Each square is 1 inch. I'm gonna cut 2.5 inches, is what I ultimately decided on. So I have it lined up, both of my layers here, with the bottom as best as possible. So go ahead, 1.5 and I'm going to snip in And I'm gonna keep pulling this back a little bit so I can see where the 1/2 inch mark is on this grid. Okay, we are done. Check that out. Our shirt has just gotten a lot smaller. Okay, so now that you have all your pieces cut, I'm gonna take my shirt over to the serger and sew back on the rib knit. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is sew the cuff onto the sleeve. You have your cuff and you have your sleeve, and you want to make sure your cuff is turned with the right side inside, and you want to line it up with the seam of your sleeve here. So that way you have the seam here and the seam here, and they're gonna line up. And your shirt is going to be, if you can see, like bigger than your actual cuff. So you're going to want to like stretch it out as you sew it so that there's no like gathers or pleats in it. And then go ahead and serge it together. Okay, let's turn it right sides out, and ta-da! Look at this. We are looking so good, like a cuff on a sweater. Okay, so now that you've mastered your first cuff, go ahead and do the exact same thing to your second cuff, so that way you get 2 cuffs. Okay, so now we have our rib knit for the bottom of the sweater. Go ahead and put the right side to the inside, and make sure you are sewing and serging the correct end of this, because they look very similar. So make sure you have the raw side matched the raw edge here, right sides together. And again, this one is a little bigger, so you want to be able to stretch them together into place. So let's serge them together. Okay, so I think we just finished our sweater. It is looking pretty awesome, way smaller. I think it's looking like Anastasia size. So let's try it on and see how it turned out. Okay, so now that we have shortened our sleeve, shortened our hem, we're looking really good. If you needed to, you could also take in the body of your sweater. We'll do another tutorial that shows how to really take in the sleeves and the body of it as well. But now we have this awesome pink sweater that we can wear. I think it's gonna look great with a pair of jeans this fall. What do you think? Thanks for watching Sewing Anastasia today. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, check out all of our other tutorials, and follow us on Instagram at Sew Anastasia, S-E-W Anastasia.